this should be interesting because I don't know how to do this. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. If anybody can hear me. Oh, I'm live. There we go. So we'll look and we'll see if anybody is actually watching this. First time trying this out, guys. I don't know if anybody's watching or can see it, or it doesn't show me, and I'm not used to this. Oh, look. It's showing me, well, Paris. Hello, Paris. Oh, perfect. So you guys can see me here. It's very interesting. And June, I apologize. I've never, hi, I've never used YouTube before. So I don't know if I can do this in a private YouTube or not. But I kind of like the way the look is here. Hello, Wendy. This is very cool. I might get into doing more YouTube lives. Interesting. I really like the layout. It's way better than Facebook by a million miles. So, hi. Maybe I should go over and tell the others to come here and I'll answer everybody's questions. I do like it here. This is just one of my photos I have up here, folks, because I didn't know if this was going to work or not. Yes, I took this photograph. Haha. Maybe I should just pause this for a moment and run over and tell everybody to come over here. Okay, it looks like I have a link up here, so I can copy that. Just hold the line, folks. Hold the line. I'll be right back. I'm going to mute you because I believe that I can. Okay, I just posted in the other group. And now I'm going to try something here in a moment. After I say these words, then I want you to respond to how quickly you can hear me. Because I think it's much faster than Facebook. So 1, 2, 3, can you hear me? Nobody's answering me. Haha. Okay. Oh, so it actually took about 15 seconds before anybody heard me. I see the numbers are going up here now. It's showing me here how many people are watching. And that's cool. I think we're going to have a lot of people in this because it wasn't turned into a private Facebook, or sorry, this is YouTube, a private YouTube live. So we're going to have a lot of people on here, and we're going to talk about tissue salts today. And this is actually intended for my students, folks. For those of you who are actually watching who aren't my students, you're going to get a little lesson in tissue salts today, because I'm here to ask a bunch of questions and to answer a bunch of questions. Sorry, and Facebook is messing with my ability to use my very expensive Wirecast software to broadcast in Facebook groups. So we're going to do this, and we're going to talk about tissue salts. So anybody who's interested in tissue salts, hey, and any of you who want to join the private group, you'll be able to do so. And now I don't know if I can change there's only 12 people watching. I have to go back to the other group, folks, for a second and see, and I apologize for this. But I just have to run back and take a peek. I'll keep talking as I do it. So I'll go back to the group. Here we are. Has anybody seen? Oops. Okay, what's going on here? F5. F5 again. We got to reload. Posted it. Only 6 people have seen it. Oh boy. So I'll come back over here to YouTube now. But this would be cool for YouTube as well, to talk about it and do some live and answer some questions for people. Lots of detractors and cynics over here, though. A ton of them. Only 14 people, 15 people now watching. Doesn't show me who's actually watching. Scroll back up here. So, hi Newsy City. And see, I don't know who's who now. We got a Shalo Globetrotter, and some of you I know, some of you I don't. Some of you I know are my students, and some of you aren't. So some of you who aren't my students are going to wind up getting a few little lessons today in a discussion about the 32 individual tissue salts, the basic, the extended, and then my own extension of the tissue salts. So we're up to 18. I assume that people will start coming in now. So let's get this started. And do any of you who are my students have questions about what you've learned in the 32 tissue salts over the course of the last month, before we move on to me making videos of your own analysis, my analyzing you folks, and then on to muscle testing. But does anybody have any questions? I assume others will join later, and I sure hope that I'm so sorry, it's the first time using YouTube, that YouTube allows me to. I see Paris has indicated that she's really not absorbing all the cell salt info in her memory. So that's what we're here for. So anybody have questions? How am I so youthful looking and handsome? I'm not. I just lie a lot. Nobody's even laughing at me, so I don't know if anybody can even hear me. I should check to make sure. It feels like that Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? So the microphone is on, but nobody's really responding to me, so I don't know if you can hear me or not. It says there's 22 people watching. I'm not seeing any new comments or hellos or anything. Going to 23. Okay, here we are. We can hear you. So you're all just being really silent then. Somehow out of the 158 of you students, there's only like 23 people here, and half of you aren't even my students. So Marina needs to be sent to the naughty corner. Okay, now it's just pounding with comment after comment. Oh, there's the evil Erica. Hello, Valley Vida. See, I don't know. Doesn't matter if you're not a student. You can listen in while we do this. What brand of cell salt? So this is somebody who's not a student, obviously. I have my own manufactured for me, Stephanie. They have the proper negative ionic charge. I don't recommend mass manufactured tissue salts, and that's why I've started the Goyetche Institute, which, if you go to my profile, it has the link to my Facebook account. If you want access to them, you can come in and get a facial. I'll do a free facial analysis for you over there, and you can purchase mine if you want to purchase them. But I don't recommend mass manufactured tissue salts. This might be good for the students to know as well, and that's the reason why I don't recommend them, is because you cannot mass manufacture tissue salts and maintain the negative ionic charge, because there's a thing called good manufacturing processes, or GMP. GMP requires that the tissue salts, which hold a negative ionic charge, or should hold a negative ionic charge, must be in constant contact with either stainless steel or copper for sanitary reasons and to prevent infection, bacteria, etc. So when they do that, the metal of the copper or the stainless steel will either negate or reverse the ionic charge, rendering them all but useless. And when I say that, I mean that you'll actually lose about 85% of the tissue salts that you're taking when they're mass manufactured. The reason for that is because that negative ionic charge is gone. Your blood cells that are mixed in your saliva and at the back of your throat have a mainly positive ionic charge. So you want the negative ionic charge of the trace mineral or the tissue salt to attract to your blood cells like a magnet to metal, and then be carried or transported throughout your body. When they're mass manufactured, you lose that negative ionic charge, and you're literally only getting 10 to 15% of the required minerals. So that's why I only recommend mine. So now, back to students. So do any students have questions about what you've learned over the last month as I broke down each of the 32 different tissue salts? I've never even heard of Best Made, Stephanie, so I don't know. Oh, cool, Newsy City. I don't know. I'm glad that you follow me and that you read what I write on Facebook. I can stir up a little trouble sometimes, and sometimes be a little foul-mouthed, naughty-mouthed, get myself in trouble because people don't like the truth that I speak, but that's fine. The truth doesn't care about people's feelings or opinions. They only care about the facts. So you've probably seen that if you've been following me for a couple of years. I try not to offend anybody, and I truly do. Stephanie, all you have to do is go to my Facebook account, which is under my name, which you obviously see here because I'm seeing it in bright yellow here. And hi from Roy, Utah. Well, hi from Shediac, New Brunswick, Canada, where it's a cold, dark, gloomy day. I hope so, Christina McKinney, that it will be uploaded. This is the first time ever doing this on YouTube. So I hope it saves it as a video. And then I'll know, hey, maybe I can, just for the 14,000 followers or something here on YouTube, maybe I'll start doing some live videos for the folks on YouTube as well. I really didn't know I could do this. Debbie, cobalt and molybdenum are pretty cool, are pretty powerful tissue salts. Of course, cobalt having to do with vitamin B12 and your folate, of course. and how you process them and take them up, and a cofactor of them itself. Molybdenum is pretty powerful as well, especially when it comes to different anxiety issues, behavioral issues also. Not getting hit with any real hard questions here. I'm waiting for the hard stuff. Give it to me, guys. You guys are too easy on me tonight. And it's my fault because half the people are probably still all over in the group. It's okay, Paris. Don't worry about it. You can always ask questions in the training group anyway. Janet Hannes. Hello, young lady. And by the time this is over, folks, I would have cursed a few times, made a few inappropriate jokes. See, Jamila, I really don't feel like I'm a good teacher. I really don't. I feel like I really suck at it. I have to be honest. Ooh. Clara Miller, I'm here to talk. This broadcast was intended for my students to talk about individual tissue salts, but I'll tell you what, at another time, I will come on here and I will talk about Epstein-Barr virus. I'll talk about sarcodes that you can use that will help. But for now, I really want to stick to the tissue salts. And people like Jamila in Paris telling me how great of a teacher I am, lying to me, looking for discounts on something, or I don't know what it is, something like that. Lisa Unrah. Can we talk about thyroid health? My thyroid was killed. Okay, so again, Lisa, we're here to talk about the specific tissue salts. If your thyroid is dead, can I bring your thyroid back to life? Maybe. With the use of sarcodes, which we haven't covered in the training yet, we've brought back basal ganglias, completely necrotic basal ganglias, dead due to Huntington's disease. Amygdalas as well. No, basal ganglia, amygdala was completely necrotic, considered dead by the young child specialists. Using sarcodes, we've removed or deleted the faulty DNA that embedded Huntington's disease into his DNA. And then we rebuilt literally from nothing, completely necrotic tissues. We rebuilt it to it's a full functioning normal state, and the geneticist in that case, who actually traveled from Germany to treat this young man, is still somebody who's wanted to talk to me, but I've never had an opportunity to discuss with him what we did to accomplish that, because he had never seen anything like it. So if we can do that with a basal ganglia in the center of the human brain, can we bring a thyroid back to life? I think so, but I've never tried. Chances are yes. And in that case, you want a stimulating sarcode, 3C, 4C, 5C potency. Message retracted. That's interesting. For those of you who are doing the training, sarcodes and nosodes will be talked about very soon. The number one missing tissue salt in America? Well, June, the number one missing tissue salt in America, if I answer that question, people will flip their lids and tell me I'm crazy, what is it, industry shill, blah, 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 blah. Number one tissue salt that's been deficient in all people within North America, also in Australia and England and, well, Canada's part of North America, calcium fluoride. hide under my desk while I say that. Well, everybody says, oh, no, fluoride makes you stupid, and the Nazis used it to kill you, but it's the second most abundantly stored micromineral in the human body, second only to iron, essential to human life. You cannot live without it. Thank you, Rebecca. I'm glad you're doing all right. I hope I get this right. Shailu, um, I would have to see the face and then know whether we're talking about edema or water collection under the eyes, which in that case it could be the pituitary gland and antidiuretic hormone, vasopressin, or whether we're talking about somebody who's saying they have dark circles under their eyes and all it really is what's called a geometric metamerism, which is just a big fancy name to make myself sound important when I'm really not. But it's a shadow caused by people with extended brows that have the brow or the bone right behind your eyebrow sticks a little further than some people, and it can cast a shadow when there's light overhead. And there's so many people who think that they have dark circles under their eyes that don't. It's that they stand in the mirror with the light above their head, the light shines down, hits their brow, creates a shadow. But if you have allergies, can do it. Adrenal fatigue can cause it. But if you're talking about puffy cheeks as well, then you may just be overcarbed. I really wouldn't know without being able to see the face. So it's swelling. So if it would depend on whether there's water collection there. If there's water collection there, um, it's not so simple as lymphatic drainage simply just for the face. If there is a collection of water or edema under the eyes, water collection under the eyes, the first place I look is at the pituitary and its production of vasopressin, which is antidiuretic hormone, and the relationship to the adrenal glands, thyroid, and ovaries, of course, because the pituitary is responsible for the production of hormones that feed all of those. The only way I do it shallow is on Facebook. There's no other way, really, other than to see me in person. And right now, due to my own physical back injury, I'm not seeing patients because I can't muscle test. But that's the only place I do them, and I don't do private consultations. Sarah Ash, who works with me, I get her to do all of them as I take care of the new Goyetche Institute School for training some of these people that you see here, such as Fiona. And there's Fiona asking a question. Fiona is actually asking a real question about cobalt deficiency. So cobalt deficiency would be common amongst people who have MTHFR mutation, and thank you for asking that question, Fiona. Yes, it would, and I failed to talk about that in the video. It would indeed. It takes a whole lot of explaining, but its relationship to B12 and folate and your ability to uptake. So in MTHFR, it's a methylation. So you're trying to methylate it, and you're not. But you see, the thing is, there's so many people that display with normal or high levels of B12 and folate that really don't have it, don't have high levels. The levels are actually probably, I'm making a hypothetical assumption here, are low so very often, and the body's actually not uptaking or assimilating the B12 and folate. And that's why MTHFR is not so simple as so many people put it, or seem to pretend that it is. But the answer to your question, though, Fiona, is yeah, most people are. So, Amy, third estate, I assume that's crazy Amy. No, I don't mean that you're really crazy. The redheaded fricker Amy, I am assuming that's you. I'm wondering if I take multiple formulas that have a higher number of certain minerals in each, can it throw you off, especially if you are lower in one? In other words, do they need to be balanced? Yes, they do need to be balanced, but you need to remember that when you take tissue salt formulas, the amount of tissue salts that you're ingesting or putting into your body is the equivalent of that which you would get from a healthy meal if we lived in the late 1800s when they were still fallowing the growing fields. Before they started pounding the agricultural excuse me agricultural growing fields with the chemicals that block the uptake of our cellular nutrients or our minerals from the soils. So, yeah, can you take too much? Yeah, but you'd really have to try because you'd have to do something ridiculous. I wouldn't take 3 or 4 different formulas that have it. I would take 2 formulas. Sometimes I might even take 3 formulas with the same ingredients in it, but I wouldn't go to 4. So if you were doing 4, 5, 6 formulas, which you really shouldn't be doing anyway, then yeah, it's possible that you can overlap to the point that you're throwing yourself in a level of toxicity, which then in turn, because most of the symptoms of deficiency and toxicity are nearly identical, which you see in a lot of heavy metals as well. Silver, for instance, it's a heavy metal, but it's a functional heavy metal. Calcium fluoride shouldn't affect your magnesium. However, if you reacted badly to it, then yeah, you probably shouldn't be taking it. Yes, ionic charge. I don't know if I'm going to say your name right. Azada? Azada. Azada. Don't know which. Yes, there's a very big difference because ionic charge is everything when it comes to tissue salts. And remember, only some tissue salts are 12x, most are 6x. Well, no, sorry, most are 12x. I have over 500 different SAR code bases here. News City? You want to know about tissue salts? Muscle test them. Your body doesn't lie. Learning muscle testing, it'll change your world. It literally will change your world if you learn how to do it effectively. Stay away from the EMF output, putting Wi-Fi devices, Bluetooth devices, cell phones when you're muscle testing. That can affect it. Make sure you're doing, if you're grounded, go outside and bare feet to the grass would even help you a bit. Learn all kinds of videos on YouTube that teach you how to muscle test. I'll be producing some more videos in the very near future. I just spent like $25,000 on professional cinema style video cameras, so I'll be making more as well. Shayla, Hashimoto's is a difficult one, and the thing that you need to remember when it comes to Hashimoto's is do not take immune boosting supplements or you're gonna gain weight. If Hashimoto's is autoimmune, you stimulate the immune system, you increase the antibodies, the production of antibodies, and thus the attack on the thyroid, thus continuing to push down your basal metabolic rate. And of course, you'll gain weight. So stay away from immune boosting supplements. If you can get yourself a DNA and RNA Sarcode, it could take up to 3 years to do it, but you can reverse pretty much any autoimmune disorder with a DNA and RNA Sarcode. Of course I like you, Amy. Red-headed Frigger. A year trial, you're going to have to come to Canada. And I really, 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 really want to find somebody that, a couple of people locally, because so many people talk about, oh, she looks so pretty now. And do a nutritional makeover, vanity makeover. June, that would be the answer to your question of when I discovered that cell salts required an ionic charge. That would be 26 years ago, 27 years ago. Laylox, I don't know who you are, but my Facebook, the timeline photo on my Facebook account tells you how to get into the private group, get a facial analysis done, and then Health Canada will permit me to sell you tissue salts and Sarcodes, but until then it won't. I'm not allowed to sell them to anybody other than somebody for whom I've performed or completed some form of consultation with, and that's the only way I'm allowed to do it, and that's why I do them free on Facebook. You can't buy my salts anywhere except through me at this time, unless you see a practitioner who might be in your area. And this is supposed to be about this. We're short like 120 people at least, more than that, because many of you aren't even from the class, of who I don't even think they know where we're at, but that's fine. I'll figure it out. Sandra, yeah, I don't ship. Sarah is the gal who takes care of all my shipping for me. She's out of Nova Scotia, and I just maintain a large quantity with her. She ships all over the world. Australia and New Zealand are I probably ship more there than I do to the USA. Hi, Louise. No, it was 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Louise. But that's fine. I'm here, and you're here. So you can ask questions. Oh, hello, Rachel. So maybe some people did think that, didn't realize that. Maybe I wrote it was 5 p.m. I have to go back to the group and see how many people are telling me off. Just one moment, folks. You can ask your questions. I'll get back to them in a moment. Oops. Just one moment. Why can't I even find it? Well, there it is. There we go. I just had to type that. come back and find you guys again. Here we go. So, the marvelous Marina. And I'm not even going to try to say your... No, I am going to try because it's kind of fun and you guys can make fun of me for trying to say it. Shakanazarova. Marina Shakanazarova. I'm probably way off base, but that's all right. So, Shayla, have you taken an Alcat allergy test? I did fix it. Okay, I was talking to someone else. Blue Sky. Well, haha, I was there. I had to sign up for a YouTube account. You never had a YouTube account, Amy? Shame on you. Well, now you can follow my YouTube channel that I don't update nearly as much as I should be doing. I keep wanting to start making new videos. I've spent all that money on the new equipment, so maybe I'll start. I don't know, but now, hey, maybe I'll start doing live broadcasts and actually letting people know that I'm going to do them on here and let people pound me with questions. So does anybody have any questions about... The K is silent. So it's Shana Zarova. Shana Sarova. Shana Sarova. Marina Shananava Verzovova. I'm close. Shayla, there are specific allergies. Oh, hang on. Jana, did I miss the answer to your question? What was your question, Jana? Because I can see up to where Sandra DeSalle says thanks, and I can't see. I see you ask Blue Sky a question. That's all that it's allowing me to... Oh, hang on. I can scroll. I didn't know that. You may want to ask the question again, otherwise I'm going to miss everything else. My voodoo. My YouTube channel has like 100 videos deleted. I did not know this. Some of them have over 1 million views. One of them does, actually. You can go on Facebook, join my Facebook group, and post some photos, and then I can sell you them, and Sarah will ship them to you. And that's all I can really tell you, because I can't recommend in good conscience any mass-produced tissue salts unless you can find somebody who has the ability to produce them and make them properly in a lab using glass trays, wooden trays, things that will not affect the ionic charge. And I'm trying to words. I guess they formulate their products considering balance in all of the ingredients to assure that the final product is indeed negative ionic charge, and that can be done as well. Yeah, I don't know about a power vitamin B injection. I don't even know what that is. Sorry, I didn't even know that you were asking me about that. Possibly that you can't process it. You're not uptaking it. You could be cobalt deficient. You may not be methylating. You may have the what is it, 677T genetic mutation, MTHFR 677T, where you can't methylate the B vitamin. So it would all depend upon... Yeah, so B12 is in there, and if you can't methylate B12 and they give you a power injection, so I don't know what that is, so we're going to call it a B injection. So it's still a power injection. Sorry. So when I think power, I think it's something extra strength, and they're pounding B vitamin to you. Your body can't process it. It's all just sitting loosely in your blood and not attaching to the red blood cells. Yeah. So yeah, could it affect you? Absolutely. The prevalence rate of MTHFR mutations is not as it's it's an issue. It's not as great of an issue as so many people. Not as great of a prevalence as so many people within our community of natural health and living seem to want to indicate that it is. But it is an issue for a lot of people. But it's the new gluten. So Miss Erica, as our soils are depleted of minerals, where do the minerals come from to make the tissue salts? Just because our soils aren't depleted, the minerals are still in the soil, but they're not making the way to the surface because the soils are not being fallowed or plowed under to draw the minerals from lower back up. They just keep planting in the same soil base, the same 12 inches of soil, and they're never plowing it under, feeding it with the waste unused turnips or cabbage or whatever they're growing at the time, and allowing it to decompose, or using compost, adding compost to it to get some of the minerals back there. But the main thing is to get them fallow in the growing field and grow for a year, plow it under for 2 years. After 2 years, grow, plow it under. Well, Amy, if the libido formula didn't have a drastic effect on you, I'm going to have to start sending you pictures of me on my bearskin rug in my boxers. And then you'll have no libido anymore. Lands and forest or animal control might be shooting me with tranquilizer darts and thinking they finally got Bigfoot. Yeah, for you guys who aren't used to me on my Facebook, I'm silly as hell, and I'm not nearly as much of a jerk as people put me up to be. I'm pretty laid back. But anyway, Louise, somebody she has is a skin formula, blanche formula, exacerbating asthma. You know what, Louise? I would keep her doing it, keep her taking it, and I'll tell you why. That combination of the skin formula and the melange formula is a pretty powerful formula. It's my go-to formula whenever somebody has assimilation issues, or thanks to the thank you World Health Organization for your somewhat new classification of a new type of malnutrition, which they call, what is it, multiple micronutrient deficiency syndrome, which means we're starving the fuck to death. You'll see, I told you I would swear before this was true. It's never with anger. It's always with, let's make somebody giggle and shock them. Shock, haha. So anyway, the question I was actually asked was about the asthma. So when that occurs and the cells start assimilating nutrients, you can have an exaggeration of symptoms over the short term. Very, very common. I wouldn't stop taking it unless, of course, because we're talking asthma, if they are taking, hopefully they're taking liquid and not tablet, because if they have asthma and they have a lactose or dairy issue, again, look for the gray or almost black upper eyelids. If they have that, that might be exaggerating. It might be an issue of the lactose is there and it's going to cause an issue, but their need of the minerals overpowers the negative effect of the lactose, and that's always possible. Yeah, it is always possible. You can, for Janet Hanna's, And thank you for everybody who said you like my humor. I love to make people laugh. For Janet Hanna's, you can take the autoimmune skin formula and the melange formula. But if you have Hashimoto's, you better be taking the goddamn DNA formula, because that's what's going to get rid of the Hashimoto's or put it into remission. It has to be a part of it. Oh, she's okay. So for Louise, if she's been taking them she's been taking them for a bit, and then suddenly the asthma came on. Depending on how long, what your definition of a bit is, if it's more than a week or two, say 10, if it's in excess of 10 to 14 days, and then she has an asthma attack, I don't think it's the formulas. But if she feels that it is, and I know that's the thing about what we do, is that it can be 6 months down the road, and they haven't taken their formula for 3 months, and they get an infected belly button, and it's our goddamn fault. I'm kidding. But silly things like that have happened. I've had people that I've been taking this formula for 6 months, and I got a cold. Is it because of the formula? No. Why didn't you get it 6 months ago? Why now? No, it just doesn't work that way. But yeah, I understand that people will blame us, but depending on how long she's been taking it, if it's longer than 2 months, 2 weeks, I doubt that it's related. Very low probability. And you're saying, I believe that you stated that you had muscle tested her, and if you muscle tested her and she's still testing positive, she needs it, and I doubt that it's related. Laylox, if your Facebook account is private and anonymous, I won't deal with you. I don't mean that to be rude. It just, we get a lot of cynics and haters, and I do. I get a lot of hate mail from detractors and people who just don't like natural medicine. So whenever I see somebody with an anonymous or private Facebook account, I just ignore it. If you send me, and nobody gets in my groups without sending me a friend request, and if I don't accept the friend request, I'm not going to accept into the group. So if it's not, then I can't see why, unless you didn't send me a friend request first. Because if you're not on my friends list, I just delete it, and that might be the case. So I don't know what your actual name is to actually look for it, but it was probably deleted. So who am I missing here? Is there any way to test for an MTHFR mutation? How do you know if someone you see has an so Jenna, that's something that I don't want to talk about here because it's going to be a part of the training that I'm going to be training these folks with. And I'll speak very briefly, but for them I'll show them. And that is, look for deep horizontal lines in the forehead, the calcium sulfide lines, which are the lines under the eyes that start at the inside corner and work their way out and then turn down the face. That's a calcium sulfide deficiency. You're going to look for signs of things like copper deficiency, silica deficiency, calcium sulfide deficiency. So we're talking about sorry, I just reading. There's more questions coming now. Vertical lines in front of the ear. So I look for the signs of heavy metals toxicity because when you have MTHFR, you cannot cycle heavy metals out of your body as well. So that's one of the greatest signs when you start seeing, and you can see this in children. You can see, I can show you 6-year-olds with more lines under their eyes than I have. Hello, and I can't say your name either, Miss Wang. I'm like 5 years old. I just said Wang, and I'm going to giggle like a schoolboy now. I'm sorry, but I have to. So many questions here. Libido, etc. Amy, heat doesn't affect the formulas, right? Yes, heat affects the formulas. If it was in the 100-degree temperature, you destroyed it. Room temperature, dark, out of direct sunlight. Don't make me come over there and put you in the naughty corner, Amy. Hang on. So, Chartrenese, if your Facebook name is Chartrenese and it's one name, I probably, that would sound anonymous to me, and I might not. I did say it right. Well, that's awesome. Hello, Elizabeth C. from New York City. So, Seema Mystery. An extreme dry skin? Well, it can be your environment if you live in a low humidity environment. Uh, hypothyroid disease will give you very dry. I could sand wood with my elbows and my heels. This can give you very dry skin, loss of oils and sebum in the skin. There's many things. There's many vitamins that are related to the production of the oils in your skin. So there's deficiencies, there's diseases, there's you think about antidiuretic hormones. You can think about the pituitary, the thyroid, several different hormones. You think about sodium deficiency, potassium overload. There's so much. So there's so many things that can. So while I can talk about that's perfect, Lalox, sorry. Lalox. I'll have a look at it when I'm done here. Okay, so... Oh, Jana, you are in the class. I didn't think you were, which is why I was kind of only half answering you. What? Never give up, pray. The logos God has you. He will never lead you to proper treatments. Just ask God. I see. Not even sure how to respond to that one, but that's okay. I'm not even sure what that. Not sure how to respond to that. That's okay. So, does anybody have any more questions? You know what? For the people that are just YouTubers, expect a video from me in the next couple of weeks. You know what? Maybe I'll do this every couple of weeks, and I'll just come on here, and I'll just put it so that people know when I'm going to come, because I probably caught everybody off guard tonight, because it looks like I screwed up the time for the first live broadcast, and for the people undergoing training from the Goyetche Institute and the Goyetche Cellular Response Therapy. And I'm going to have to try to make that up to you and figure out how to do this properly. And that's all right, but I'll get that done, and I will do that. I don't know whether this is going to work or not, but whether it's going to record or not, I should say, and keep a copy of this here for everybody. A little bit all over the crap. All over the crap. I've just read Amy's. All over the crap. It's all over the crap, goddammit. But anyway, I guess this is going to be it for tonight, and I apologize to... Okay, now here comes the questions. Well, if you're local, Lilox, and you want the beauty treatment plan, you'd have to be local. And I would, indeed. I don't get in front of the cameras, Flower Power. I can't. As soon as I get in front of the cameras, I become so awkward. You really have no idea. God cured you from Lyme disease. I um yeah, no. Me seriously, and for the people from Facebook who've seen me get on there live, and I've done it a bunch of times now. The moment I get on there, I trip over my tongue, and all of a sudden, nobody thinks I'm intelligent anymore because I sound like this, and I'm tripping over my tongue. Blah, 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 blah. So you can move from San Diego to Shediac, New Brunswick, where you can freeze to death, and I'll use you. So the answer to Janet's question then, because I'm kind of getting a little done here with the cures from God, uh, is the bridge of the nose. I look at that as more a part of an arsenic iodide deficiency, and that would then be related to your lymphatic system and your production of lymph. Tim likes to build sound systems. What the fuck are you talking about? No, I don't, actually. So, Elizabeth C., I'm going to bye-bye you for now. Let's... Possibly, if you want to join the private group, and this is for LaLox. I keep saying LaRox. Possibly I can, but you'd have to go in the group, post your photos. And then we'd go from there. Now you're getting a bunch of questions all of a sudden. Any suggestions for a fungal infection on the back? I don't know what your fungal infection is and what type of fungus it is, whether it's dependent on alkalinity or acidity, whether it's aerobic or anaerobic fungus. Just the word fungus, just typically alkalinity, so alkaline water over the area in your body, colloidal silver in small amounts. Yeah, Lalox, I know that you did, and you said you sent me a thing. In June, I think I'm going to do this more, and I'll make a video and let people know that this is coming. Goska, I believe you are the gal that has a completely anonymous Facebook account, not even a profile picture, nothing on it. And that's why I didn't accept it and won't accept it. Shayla, does it? Well, for some people it does, for some people it doesn't. Because, first of all, Hashimoto's can be hyperthyroid Hashimoto's thyroiditis or hypothyroid Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Typically in Hashimoto's, you're lacking iodine. In hypothyroid Hashimoto's, autoimmune hypothyroidism, which is Hashimoto's. So you're typically deficient. When it's hyperthyroid, you typically have too much, and you're actually lacking bromide or bromines. So it all depends. Okay, I just have to run back and check this group because it's popping up all over the place. So just give me a moment, folks. Can I find this? Just one moment. Talk amongst your. Where are we? I lost you. Here you are. All right, here I am now. So, Shayla, you actually may be missing low. So if you're low, you may indeed need iodine. And I know that there's people out there. How can I say this with? I'm not trying to be controversial. I'm not trying to, and I'm here now. I'm not trying to start a war. There's people, especially in the Facebook community, who claim to be thyroid experts who are telling people how to cure their thyroids while coming to me looking for advice on how to help their own thyroid. That's not me trying to boast about myself, because listen, you should all know by now that I don't have no inclination to be this big internet sensation or overly recognized. I just want to help the people that I can help and move on to the next ones. But anyway, so let's try to get some of these. Okay, so actually that's a very good question from Citro46, who I don't know quite who that is. In one of my videos I said that I have stated that I have seen people developing diabetes from liver flushes, and that is correct. And why would that occur? Well, glycogen or glucagon are produced in the liver, and when you can literally damage the liver with these liver flushes, because you remember there's a lot of, not only chemicals are stored in there like your prescription drugs, but a lot of nutrients are stored in there. And when you flush the liver, you're flushing out the nutrients that it needs as well, and then you disrupt your liver's ability for the production of glucagon and glucagon, which one is a byproduct of the other, cofactor or starting point. So when you do that, then you're affecting the pancreas and the pancreatic output of insulin, and thus when it can only take so much of playing with it before you wind up being a diabetic, where you stop producing insulin as you need it to offset the glucose within your blood. So Yeah, it happens a lot. I see it a lot. I hear it a lot. Okay. Oh, I can do that? New City? I see. I don't know. Maybe I need somebody to come train me on how to use this YouTube. You must come train me. That's it. So, Roxy, Foxy, Roxy, Arnie. I need to go back through and look at my notes. I'm trying to find what would be a sign of discoloration and vertical lines above the upper lip. There's no specific indications there. I'd look at silica, calcium fluoride specifically. Calcium fluoride is all about the elasticity of connective tissues, and when I'll get to you other questions here in a moment. I'm going to just answer Foxy Roxy here first. Um, when it comes to the lines of the upper lip, it's I'm juvenile. You know, she made me say wang earlier, and I giggled, and now I have to tell you that the when you get vertical lines on the upper lip, it's typically from a sucking motion. Well, there's typically somebody who smokes cigarettes, some thuckers. I'm just going to leave it there. But there's a loss of collagen and elastin. There's a loss of elasticity of tissue that's occurring, and so yeah, that's that that's typically. And I have to watch myself because you guys know I'm foolish, but these folks on from YouTube don't know how foolish I am just yet. So let me move down. Any tips on muscle testing? Lots of tips, lots of videos coming in the next couple of weeks. Flower power, I don't know if you're one of the people I'm training because I don't exactly know who you are. I'm trying to keep it all straight here, and it's kind of being a bit difficult to do so right now. But yeah, I've purchased like $25,000 worth of cinematic camera gear, and we're going to start shooting videos on all different types of muscle testing, whether it be surrogate testing, self testing, or balance testing, sway testing, seated health kinesiology based testing, all kinds of weird and wonderful things. Okay, that's perfect, flower power. If you are one of the people, that's coming next after this section is uh, the muscle testing. And where is she? Erica up there. I don't know if she's still on here. It doesn't show me who's still here and who's not. You drink with straw, so there you go. That Foxy Roxy, that might be why. Flower power, that's coming in the next module. Jana, my blood work recently showed high levels of calcium. What causes this? Well, there's many things that cause it. A lack of phosphorus, a lack of vitamin D. Um, what am I missing? What else helps? I'm drawing a blank now because the questions are so far all over the place now that I. But calcium, oh, magnesium, sorry, that was the other one that I was looking for. Uh, high levels of calcium. When I see somebody talks about high levels of calcium, the first thing I do is I look at the eyelids and I look for little small white bumps. I look for calcium, which are calcium deposits. And there's Erica Spence is still here. So Erica is going to be one of the people that I'm going to abuse in muscle testing and photograph her and crack her with the whip and make sure she's doing it right to show you all. Don't know who else I'm going to use yet, but we'll be there. We'll get there. But Erica is a friend as well. She's my organic hairdresser, and she's like my non-genetic daughter. Lives not too far from me. There's a bit of calcium in tea. There's a bit of fluoride. There's a lot of fluoride in tea. Um, I will be, Amy, muscle testing elderly and young people for seated position, laying down, people who are feeble. So we'll be covering that out. I just want to get back up to Citro for a moment because I skipped by his question or her question. I don't know which it's a he or a she. I'm so used to saying she because literally 99.9% of my followers and students are women. So I'm sorry, Citro, if you are a dude. So Citro asks, what's the best way to clean out the liver? Your body's is fully built to detoxify itself. Think about some lemon, some milk thistle, um, some sodium sulfate is pretty awesome too for cleaning out the liver. Potassium sulfate works well. Sulfates work well for cleaning out the liver. You don't need these industrial strength detoxifiers because you're going to push out the things that needed to be stored there as well. And that's not good for your body. I just want to make sure I didn't miss you, Citro, because you were just new there and everyone else is like on their 200th question. So, Tim, I do have dark circles under my eyes. I hate it because I wear concealer all the time. So, LA Locks, did you send me a friend request? Because I'm going to want to go see your eyes because in most cases, people don't really have it. I'll find out. Somebody had to ask about MSM. I don't work a lot with MSM because it is very hard on your kidneys. What's your first name, LA Locks? So I know which one you are, and I'm just going to go creep in a moment once I get I get caught up on some of these questions. MSM, very, very, very hard on the kidney. So be careful. Don't overdo it with it. Very hard. And now, keep asking questions. I'm going to peek over to see who sent me a friend request over here. 2 people, so LA Locks must be Seema. Canadian girl. The Yogans. You were on my Facebook before. Oh, you're of Indian descent. Oh, you're simple. That's simple stuff. Okay. Back over here. So, I think, is it Seema? Seema, yes. Seema. Oh, shit. My first name is Shar. Okay, so I got the wrong one. Okay, so it's Shar, and I can't see your photos, which means I'm not going to accept your friend request. I'm sorry. There's like one picture that says the old and the new, and yeah, you have a couple of friends, and that's all I can see here. So I've become very concerned. Maybe I'll accept it and see who it is and who I'm talking to, and then see. Yes, Flower Power. I will be talking about that. Okay, so now I made the mistake because of the different names here, and I talked about the wrong person's dark circles under their eyes, and now I'm going to get my ass beat, and I hope you're all happy with yourself. Can I turn up the volume? You mean I shouldn't even need a microphone. My mouth is that big, Marnie. Um, there's really no way to turn up the volume. Actually, there is a way, and it's actually turned up to 180%. And I pretty much have my mouth like inches away from the microphone here, so I'm going to get the vertical lines on my lips like Foxy Roxy up there who's been sucking on straws if I get any closer to it. I'll be asking again attempts for precisely in the group to cover what. Not quite sure what you mean by that, Amy, but okay, you can ask in the group, yes. Now that you're allowed back on Facebook, you Facebook criminal you. Uh-oh. It's been a while since anybody actually said anything or typed other than the last one. Can I turn up the volume? Where's all the girls who wanted me to rap out my instructional videos? Maybe I'll start that. Don't be so conscious. Amy, I know you'll never be as pretty as me. the grape ape. But that's fine. Now all of a sudden nobody can hear me now. Well, that's good because I think I'm done with the questions anyway, and I've got poor Foxy Roxy laughing to death up there. And you know what, Citro, you will get me back on YouTube and watch for some videos, and maybe I'll begin inviting more people here and get it all sorted out and how to do it. This is my first time here on YouTube doing a live, so but I like the way it's set up that I can actually see the questions while I'm talking and get to answer them. So sometimes they come in a little strong. I don't know if I had clicked on let all 14,000 followers here on YouTube do that, or 15, whatever the heck it is, whether that would have been a good idea to try to be able to keep up. But, you know, maybe I can get some additional backup here. So anyway, how do you decide which cell salt? Marnie, we're going to start learning that tomorrow, because some of you, and I just let me check that, because as I stated, I posted in the group yesterday for the training for people to post I gave them a link where they could upload their high quality photos, and I would start making videos of them tomorrow. So tomorrow is when I'm going to begin doing them. If you give me 1 second, and I think I can talk as I do this. I just give a little quick check here, see how many people actually sent in their photos. You know, there's 150 of you, 158 of you in the class, and 4 of you send in your photos. So I see. So there's only 4 photos, so maybe it won't last as long, but I'll be getting into that tomorrow, and the link is in the group for anybody who is from the training group. From the GCRT training group. I've lost you. Oh God, I hope you can still hear me, because I seem to have turned off. Oh yeah. See, guys, I shouldn't be allowed near a computer. I'm still live. Here we are. Can I see you? There we are. Try Super Chat. I don't know what that is either. So yeah, that's going to be happening. Love to have this live. I saw that somewhere. Yes, I'm silly, Erica. You know I'm silly. But I'll be torturing you in the videos. You know I will. Debbie, no, I won't. This is for the people that are paying and undergoing the training. And the people that are in there, I'm not sure if you're in there or not. I can't remember. There's too many of us in there. that have been given an opportunity to upload their photos, and I will do it and break it down and show which tissue salts are, and even talk about some formulas and stuff at that time. That's where we'll begin talking about it before we move on to muscle testing. No photos of children. Children are just like grown-ups, Marnie. That's really, I work with a lot of kids, and there's really not much difference. You stop relying upon facial analysis and rely upon muscle testing. The body tells all. And when we get to the muscle testing, I'll be teaching how to muscle test children as well. But anyway, that's it, folks, because every time I try to close it off, um, it somebody new comes on and has a brand new question for me. So, but that's it. Cherry angiomas. If you get cherry angiomas, you need to identify whether that's a potassium bromide toxicity or deficiency, and then work on that, whether it's by way of potassium iodide or a sedation or detoxification of bromide, or both of those. See what, depending on what the issue is. So, but would I worry? No, I wouldn't worry. Lots of people are covered in cherry angiomas. But anyway, that's it, ladies and gentlemen, or ladies, I think is all that's here. Good evening. Be kind to each other. Be kind to yourself. Don't make me have to come kick your asses. Good night.